Have you ever wondered about the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity? Today, we're sharing a tale that beautifully captures this spirit. A tale of a major and his 20 soldiers navigating their way through the treacherous Himalayan terrain. In the biting cold, the major wished for a cup of tea to fuel their onward journey. But being the dead of night and with no habitation in sight, this seemed like a distant dream. After about an hour of climbing, they stumbled upon a dilapidated tea shop. But alas, it was locked. Driven by hunger and fatigue, the soldiers pleaded with the major to break the lock. Reluctantly, he agreed. Inside, they found all the necessary ingredients to make tea. The soldiers made tea, ate the biscuits they found, and took a breather. After regaining their strength, they were ready to march on, but the major was consumed with guilt for breaking the lock. He took out a 2,000 rupee note from his wallet, tucked it under the sugar container, and ensured the shop was properly closed before they moved on. Fast forward 4 months, the same group of 20 soldiers, under the leadership of the major, were returning via the same route. They saw the same tea shop, now open, and decided to rest there. The shop owner, an old tea vendor, was delighted to see so many customers at once and promptly started making tea for them. As they sipped their tea and munched on biscuits, the major started asking the tea vendor about his life experiences, particularly about running a shop in such a remote location. The elderly man regaled them with many stories, constantly expressing gratitude to God. One of the soldiers then questioned his faith, asking why God had left him in such a dire state if he truly existed. The old man replied confidently, "God exists and I've seen him. He came to my shop one night." Intrigued, the soldiers listened as the old man continued. He had been in a terrible situation when his only son was captured and beaten by terrorists. He had to close his shop to take his son to the hospital. He was financially strained, and no one lent him money due to fear of the terrorists. He had no money for medicines, and there was no hope in sight. That night, he cried and prayed to God for help, and that night, he claimed, God visited his shop. In the end, it was the major's guilt-ridden act of leaving money under the sugar container that had been interpreted as divine intervention by the old tea vendor. This story not only highlights the resilience and camaraderie of the soldiers, but also the undying faith and optimism of the old tea vendor. It's a beautiful reminder that sometimes our smallest acts of kindness can have a profound impact on others' lives.